everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Lovely to see everyone here. We are still waiting on Allison. I haven't heard anything, so I'm hoping that she's just going to be a little late, and that's fine.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of funky weather going around and stuff, so it just
But
made
look, we got Heather back.
we got
Hi, everybody. Thank you again for everybody's
is-
prayers and well wishes. It means a lot to me. It's been a rough 3 weeks. Well, 4, going on 4.
Yeah. Well,
And
just
it doesn't let go very easily.
yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming for full recovery and all that good stuff. So
I'm just very grateful that I didn't end up in ICU. I had to go to the ER, which was a whole nightmare in itself. But they made sure that before they released me after 6 hours, that my oxygen levels were high enough where they're just like, here, have a inhaler and go home. Gee, thanks. But at least I wasn't on, in ICU like my one friend in Arizona and stuff. So I was blessed, even though as sick as I was very blessed that I didn't
You had
have
a
to.
lot of people praying for you, girlfriend.
I know.
You didn't have a choice.
I mean, it was so hard to be able to. I couldn't watch lives. I haven't been able to really watch too much because it messes with my eyes and my head still and everything. But I was catching little snippets here and there. And Miss Taro D let me know too that he sent me a private message on Facebook Messenger saying that, honey, you got people left and right praying for you. They love you, I started crying. Like,
Because we love
it's
you.
true. Yeah, it's
I
true.
love you all too, so thank you. I don't know when I'm going to do a live again because it's COVID really had me open my eyes to really looking at what is going on in my life, and what is important and what, because there was a point where I didn't know if I was going to go, I was going to be okay or if I wasn't. So it really does, universe really gave me a kick in the ass.
Yeah.
So it's a time of reevaluating and reflecting, but I'm just so very happy to still be a part of the sisterhood. So thank you.
Yay.
Sister for life, darling.
Yep.
For life.
So just want to say hi to some of the people that are in here. Teresa Levine, Captain Morgan.
Hi,
Who else?
Kristen Louise.
Yes,
Kristen is here. I
we've
saw her.
got Starlight Tarot. I was going to say Dragonfly Crystals. Hey,
I'm a very active chatter.
yeah.
Jan's free. Hi, hon.
Who else do we have? Kristen Louise and Amanda Carroll.
Yeah, a lot of people
Lacey
were sending me
Richardson.
private messages, and I just couldn't
Jan's
answer to
free.
everybody. So, but you're all,
Yeah,
I saw them.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. This is wonderful, and I'm so glad that we have Heather with us, but also we have us a new member.
Yeah.
We have a new sister. Yes, absolutely. This way. Right below me. Yeah, that way. Havana Intuitive.
Yay.
Hi, Lana.
Yeah, absolutely.
So happy to have you here. Yay.
It feels complete now. For me, I like the energy. It feels complete now.
Yeah.
I like the
Doesn't it?
energy.
I always saw 7, and I'm like, it wasn't, I didn't get that 7th name, but then you came, and I'm just getting the chills. I'm getting.
She had a V8.
It is.
Havana.
That golden 7 number.
If you build it, they will come.
If we
That's
build
it. There you go.
It happened.
So I'm here.
Good. Welcome.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, you guys, I thought I better double check to see if I got a message and from Allison, and sure enough, she says, we are having extreme weather here in southern Michigan. I cannot make the live tonight. Sorry for the short notice. That's okay.
As
You know,
long as she
yeah,
stays
the
safe.
power has
Yeah.
been flickering, and I need to decide if I'm going to my sister's or not. Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh,
I hope that
careful.
everything
Let's
is
send her lots of love. Let's send her
yeah,
lots of love.
Love
Yeah.
and protection.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So just chat for a minute while I quickly respond to her and let her know everything is just fine. We are
So this
not
week's
not to
topic is
worry.
boundaries, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
boundaries, right.
Perfect.
It's always a tough one because we as light workers are
Mhm.
yes people. Oh yes, I'll help you with this, or
Yes.
oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know how to say no.
Yeah. I
Guilty is
actually
charged.
went through one of my decks because I knew that there was a card that talked about boundaries, and I love the artwork. I don't know if anyone's. I've used this a few times.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
called the Rose
Well, that's a
Oracle.
pretty one.
Pretty.
Yeah.
She's the same author and artist who did the light seed, not the light seers, the star seeds and the work your light. And
Yeah.
her card was beautiful for boundaries. It's the thorn, and it shows how you this is beautiful blossom of a rose, but we need to protect ourselves and make sure that those thorns are there for a reason to protect, and so that um, make sure that we maintain that, but those boundaries, not to hurt people but to protect ourselves. Like Val said, empaths, we feel everything, we do everything. And for a lot of us too, especially, mothers and stuff, we're always trying to, please everybody, and we drain ourselves from it.
That's true. And if you're embracing your life purpose and you're out there,
Hmm.
doing all your thing, you gotta, pick what
Yeah.
you're going to be doing because you're going to spread yourself so thin that you're not giving yourself the
And
nurturing.
sometimes those thorns are really good for people you really
Yeah.
do not want in your life.
Mhm.
Let me tell you,
Absolutely.
we have a gentleman. I'll use the word gentleman as a kind word here. A couple weeks ago, when I was in the middle of being just really sick
Aw.
and doing a lot of vulgar. I mean, I went through up and down trying to get people between the police and the office to help us, and then none of them kept saying it's not in our hands, it's out of our, that
Yeah.
kind of thing, passing the buck.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I finally said to Saint Michael, you know, dude, I need help.
Dude, I like that.
Well, he's my
Dude,
dude. I have a very
Yeah.
odd relationship now with some of my guides because of being sick and me kind of having the mental talk with them. I was laying in bed and I said, "This guy, you need to. He needs help. I send him love. I send him light. Something needs to be done. He needs to be safe. We need to be safe. I'm asking you now to please keep us safe and protected. And, even though there's been more fights breaking out between people here, arguments and stuff, knock on wood, that energy has been, contained for the moment for the last 2 weeks. So, it's just that healthy boundary of asking your guides for help and sticking those, sometimes those little thorns really need reminder for people that who you don't
Well,
want in
and
your
it's
space.
placing that bubble of protection around yourself,
Mm-hmm.
around your home, so that what's going on around you, you're aware of. You may see it and hear it, but it's not going to affect you, and it's not going to involve you because you've got those walls up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that boundary, the protection. You've got that bubble around you. That I mean, anytime I've ever been in that situation, ever since I had Susan Lynn and Jen from Jen's World Tarot tell me that I have a huge angel that walks around behind me, which I've never seen. It was like, okay. It's like now, anytime I get in a
Yeah.
situation that gets kind of iffy, I'm like, okay, dude, you're back there
Yep.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Time to
Yep.
come forward and do your thing. Just
Mm-hmm.
and I guess it's working because so far it's so good.
And I think too, from what I've learned about boundaries, having been sick, is that for the past year I've been just working and having my lives and inviting people and doing readings. And there are times when I do forget. I realize later on at night, oh, excuse my language, but shit, I didn't ground. I didn't see, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so when boundaries popped up again, it was too for me coming back to that. I was just like, boundaries too for all of us readers too, people in chat. When we're done with the live, we really need to make sure that our energy is up, it's strong, it's healthy, and everything that we've been feeling with one another, we need to let go and give back to the earth or give back to, our higher power or our guides. And I think this was too for me a big reminder that I wasn't doing that enough. And it was just that timing and then boom. So boundaries on all different sorts of, levels are very important.
Absolutely. One
And I'll
of
be
the
quiet now.
reasons that I thought um, that this is a topic that we could cover is because it had the last week, week and a half or so. Um, I have been bumping. I've had people bump up against my boundaries, and I thought, okay, well, this is something. If it's happening to me, I'm sure it's happening to others as well. And it's a case of people just kind of pushing to see how far they can go. And I think one of the things that I've learned is to the boundaries that I set for myself are a sign of respect that I have for myself.
Hmm.
So that um, there might be times when maybe there's certain things that I can bend, but there's some lines in the sand that we do not cross. Um, and um, at the end of the day, I have to live with myself, right? I have to know that I'm being true to myself. And I also discovered recently too that one of the one of the ways that we sort of go against our own boundaries is we're afraid of being disliked. We're afraid of being judged by the other person. And a friend of mine pointed out this afternoon that actually that is that is how they reel you in, because it's not about respecting your boundaries, it's about what they can get from you.
Hmm.
So that just kind of reinforced everything again. So I think it's important. It really is important, and it's a way that we respect ourselves. And when we respect ourselves, other people will pick up on that, and they will they will respect us for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Now, how about you, Amana? What's your take on boundaries?
Well,
To
I have
put you,
recently been thinking a lot about boundaries like everybody else. I think it is a topic that's come up, kind of risen to the surface. And I've actually put up some boundaries, like you guys have said, people like shows that I will go on or will
whoops,
not go on, or just whatever, putting up some boundaries. And I recently had to put up a boundary with somebody, and I kept thinking I'm being so mean. I felt like I'm being mean to this person. And then I realized putting up a boundary is a really healthy thing and there's nothing mean about it. And I had to
exactly.
change my perspective on how I felt about it. And it really is a very healthy, it turned out to be a very healthy thing. And I think actually we're both better for it.
Yes,
But it was really changing my inner perspective on thinking that I'm being mean to someone to being actually nice to myself. Just being just a healthy thing to do, really.
yeah, it is. It is. And I think sometimes we struggle with it because, especially as women, we are brought up be nice, okay? Don't cause trouble. Um, that's your job is to be accommodating, to be helpful, and to some degree, yes, it is, but not at the expense of someone else, right? So yeah, that's
Well, and not
It
also
made
always
me.
to always be. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, not to always be like that. I mean, I just actually had an issue today where I was let's say I was basically told I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. But when I started to answer and respond, it was like, no, you're argumentative, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not arguing. I'm not complaining. I'm explaining, but
Yeah.
yet it still is because whatever. So I just said fine. At that point, it just then becomes I go back into myself, and I'm like, there's no point in wasting my breath explaining this.
Yeah,
that is
Exactly.
choosing your battles wisely.
Exactly. What am I going to do with this? I'm not going to win. Even
Yeah.
because of a reason that makes no sense, I might, and I don't mean I have to win everything. I don't mean it like that. But if my voice isn't
Yeah.
going to be heard, I'll just step back and get busy doing something where something else I'm interested in creating or working on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And how
Yeah,
about
I was gonna pop in and say real quick, when Marina, when you first sent the email out, this is the topic I think we need to cover. I immediately heard my mother's voice in my head saying, if you don't respect yourself, don't expect anyone else to respect you.
Yeah.
And going back as far back as I can remember her saying that to me. I can remember her saying that to me when I first started dating, and saying, if the young man you're out with doesn't show you any respect and you allow it, then you're not respecting yourself, and you're giving him an open door to mistreat you.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I was always kind of very careful about who I dated, who I went out with.
Exactly.
And I think it came from just probably something in her past that she had a bad experience about. She just didn't want that to happen to me,
Yeah.
And so I was always grateful for that. I didn't really think about it until your email this week, and it just like, boom, it was right there. And I started thinking on it, and a lot of memories started flooding back in, and which was nice. It kind of brought my mom right back to me, so like we were just sitting there talking again. And it was so in a way, your email brought me my mama back for a little while.
Oh, perfect. Oh, I'm so glad.
And I'm going to stop there because I'm going to cry if I go any further.
So cute.
Yes. Yeah, but it's true. It's true. Yeah. And Starlight Tarot says, I need to learn this stuff so I can teach my kids. Absolutely.
Yeah, she says it's hard to do, she said. Because I was looking up, she goes, healthy boundaries are good, but hard to do though. And they are.
Absolutely.
The more you practice it, the moment it becomes not even like a second thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the first time is the hardest, the most difficult, because that's where most of the emotion is. And then after you've got the first one under your belt, it's a little easier and a little easier. And it gets to the point that, you can live within your boundaries. You can live within your self-respect. You can still be kind to other people, but you don't let them
be a
walk
doormat.
over you. Yeah.
In fact, I just heard something recently about giving people like a soft negative by saying like, maybe you watched their kids once or twice in the past and you don't want to do that anymore, but they're still asking you to do it, saying, you know what, I love your kids. I absolutely enjoyed the time I spent with your kids. But you know what, at this point, I'm just going to have to take a step back. I have some other things I need to work on right now.
Exactly.
There you go, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And how about you, Allie? You haven't said too much.
Allie's been muted.
It's been a tough day for me. Been a very tough day.
Oh no.
I'm having some trouble with my pet, and I think that what Heather went through is what we all have gone through, some kind of a life-changing situation where boundaries are more right out there, so you can see them, knowing that there's a limited time here on earth, and that we have to look at self-care. I didn't learn them from my mother. I didn't know anything about boundaries until my therapist daughter told me I needed to check my boundaries. And I didn't even know what she meant. And, she's 45 and I'm you know, she's teaching me. And I really appreciate it because my own mother, as much as I loved her, was a martyr. And she didn't set boundaries, but she complained when people would infringe upon her.
Yes.
And she just, I don't think it was something that in that generation that she knew anything about. So my biggest problem is I overcommit. And Val said something about that right at the very beginning. Usually have 8 to 14 classes a term. Then I do my shows, and then I do this, and then I do that. And then I say to myself, what the hell? I don't have any time for myself. And I think that it's very important for me. I do realize and recognize now more than I ever have before that I need to think about self-care, because I really never thought about it before. Yep. I understand, Captain Morgan. It took me 65 years.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Same here. When I was diagnosed with my bipolar and my other couple diagnoses, I was asked, have you ever heard of CBT or DBT? There's groups that you can take. And I'm like, what's this? And it's more mainstream, where I learned about radical acceptance, learning about willingness versus willfulness, being mindful of, listening to interpersonal relationships, really, because they taught you about gaslighting. It taught you about passive aggressive. It showed you all the different ways of how people may or may not be infringing on those boundaries, and how to proactively address them. Whereas, growing up, the first thing is to feel, react, and then, deal with, whereas a lot of these groups of people can take it. And I know Manasa on wellness, Manasa Wellness talks about it. I know that Isaac, he comes on, I can't think of Isaac's last name, but he does mental health, and they all talk about this is much more mainstream now, and how we can apply
Isaac Bowles.
mindfulness. But okay, thank you. And taking mindfulness, taking the radical acceptance, and just really using those as a tool to really create that safe space for yourself, those boundaries, and to create healthier relationships, just not with other people, but with yourself as well. Because if you don't set boundaries for yourself first, like what someone was saying, you can't respect. But I think with Sherry, this, if you don't respect yourself first, others aren't going to respect. And that has to do a lot with boundaries that you set for yourself personally.
Right. And on that cue, Heather, that's exactly, I did my homework properly. And I just wanted to say, how do you set your boundaries? This is actually the exercise Marina laid out, which was well thought out, actually. And I even went to my husband and said, how do you set your boundaries? Because he's pretty masterful at how he runs his life. And he says, I prioritize what I do. Then for me, I say, you verbalize that your time is limited and that your schedule is full. You explain what you will and what you won't do in a non-personal way. And you set rules for yourself, so you know in advance what you're going to say yes to and no to. Make your rules up and tell others what they are. The next thing that Marina came up with, I love it. How do you feel when you don't honor your boundaries? I feel stressed, tired, and sometimes I feel resentful and disappointed that I didn't say no, because I'm a yes light worker. But how do you let others know what your boundaries are? That was the next to final question. If you let others know your schedule and you are adherent to that schedule, then even in your own household, they will begin to respect that your time is valuable. You can explain that you have a lot on your plate and you don't have any spare time. Then be clear that you will on what you will and won't do according to the boundary rules you set for yourself. And my husband says, simply say, my schedule is too busy. Then he says, if your boss is trying to give you more tasks and you have a big long task list, simply say to your boss who wants to give you extra work, I've got a list of tasks you've given me to do X, Y, and Z. Is this task more important than X, Y, and Z? How do you want my tasks prioritized? To give them, hey, you let your boss prioritize them. Don't let it all just snowball on you. That allows you to have some power in what you're going to say or do for someone else. And the final thing is, how do you say no with compassion? Marina really outlined this well. If I was asked to assist in a task and I didn't have time, I would say with truth and kindness, oh, honey, I wish I could help you, but my schedule is so full, I'm not able to do it. And if I was asked to assist with something that I wasn't interested in, then I would say, oh, honey, that's something I really am not gravitating toward right now. So it's a no for me. My husband says, this is the male perspective, sorry, but it doesn't seem to fit in my schedule. And he's a real nice guy, warm-hearted. He'd be smiling while he said that, like a Pisces man would.
Of course.
And then he says, or he says, no, thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've got a Pisces over here too. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well,
We're short and sweet.
We think we've got to explain ourselves, right?
Exactly. I was just going to say,
right?
Ivana,
you were saying, you think you've got to give an explanation. Well, apparently, according to my husband, you just say, no, thank you.
No,
it's a lot of that is our upbringing.
He's not embarrassed to say
no.
In a man,
men are raised to believe to just be cut and dry, whereas women are made to believe that we're supposed to nurture everyone and not, and not say no to people.
Oh, man.
And whereas guys are encouraged to do that.
Right. And I think we have to also address the feelings of feeling selfish and saying that it's okay to be selfish.
Yes.
Pretty much all the time.
From now on.
The beginning of that were the cards that Marina pulled from Archangel Michael, which outlined what your true path is. Open to your spiritual gifts. Don't settle for less. That's about self-esteem and value. Trust your angels. Embrace your life's purpose. So as a foundation for how you set your boundaries, those were the perfect cards that Marina pulled from Archangel Michael, which really put you in the right.
Like I said, he's the dude.
Make your boundaries.
Yes,
Yes,
he is. And that was, with me sitting and thinking, okay, I think we should cover boundaries, but then, the little voice, the ego sometimes that pops up and says, boundaries? Who are you kidding? No one's interested in that. And I thought, no, go away. I'm going to pull some cards. And the cards just confirm that, I need to trust that and I need to go.
Boundaries is like a major foundation for every level of our well-being.
Yes.
If you don't have boundaries, then you have a very unstable foundation because it'll just crack people, they'll get their way in. It's just boundaries help create a strong foundation
in a relationship too, that you are not, that you are a valuable human that isn't just somebody's not going to snap their fingers and have you
go God something.
Yes try it give it a try and see what happens.
Ladies, just really quick, I noticed somebody new in chat. For me, it's new because I haven't been on in so long, and I don't think we said hi, but I've never met Mother's Tarot. So, hello, Mother's Tarot.
You guys, she's going to be on my channel on Thursday before Lightworkers. So
that's tomorrow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can come, watch the show, and you'll be introduced to Mother's Tarot.
But I just want to say hi to her really quick because, like I said, it's been like 4 weeks since
hi, Mother's Tarot.
I completely shut myself off from everything. So,
I've seen the name, but I didn't know her either. So I didn't even know she had a channel. So
she's fabulous. She's on my show.
She's been on my show. And who else came in?
Viviani.
D. Rose.
Viviani.
Yeah. Yes,
Shaw
there's,
Woman.
Mhm.
you know what? There is a lot of absolutely wonderful people here, and
Mhm.
while it's still in my head, um, for those of you that are here, thank you. But don't forget to go down in the description of the video. Okay, I've got everybody's links in there. Don't forget to go to their channel, subscribe, give them a thumbs up.
I finally hit 500. Both
Yay!
times when I was sick. I was, just starting to get sick, and I was like at 520 or something, and then I went back and it was like, wait a minute, I'm at 500. What happened to the other 20? But then during one day I just took a look and I said 505. I go, okay, I guess I'm steady now, so I'm officially in the 500 club.
Yay.
So
Yes,
thank you
absolutely.
everybody for
Perfect.
still hanging in there,
I need
with
some
me.
pom poms or something I can shake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sherry,
That's-
she had some
Yeah.
pom poms. Just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not those. Those don't shake that well. I need to go to the dollar store and see if I can pick up some little cheapy pom poms I can keep over here. So
That's right.
if something good happens, I can shake the pom poms. Look, Allie's got her finger going up.
Yeah.
You know, I this is kind of off topic, but it's cute. In my other life, when I was a sales professional, one of the things that I would do with my team is I bought some noisemakers, and so we had this flying monkey, which you kind of pulled on the back of him and you let it go, and as he flew through the air, it went wee. And then others, and that was if you got an order of over $1,000, the monkey would fly, and then other different little levels made different noises. And it didn't take very long for the rest of the office, because we were all in open concept, that yeah, they would start to cheer when they would hear the noise. They'd stand up and go, "We did it! Yay, we did it!" So yeah, definitely pom poms and noisemakers.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Cat Mama's here.
Hey,
Hi,
Cat
Cat Mama.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, she extended her name, Cat Mama. No, Cat Mama Meows. Do drop in.
Drop
Okay,
in.
I like that because Tori Amos had a song that's called the Do
Oh,
Drop
and
In.
PD Connects
That's
is
cool.
here.
Yeah, I like that.
Ooh, oh, hi.
Heather's channel. Tell Loretta, who's Mother's Tarot. Tell her what your channel name is, Heather.
Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts, and over the past few months or so, I've had some people say, "Well, that's a bit of a mouthful," but for me, it expresses everything that not expresses everything, but it contains within, especially with the intuitive arts. I've got ideas for bringing my arts, so I think more of my channel is going to be more half art moving forward, because that's been my given, and that's what's been my saving grace during being ill, has been my art, even when I can barely function. As long as I had something in my hand and I can do something on a page, to get through each hour. So I've had a lot of time to reconsider things with my channel, and moving forward, as soon as I feel like the time is right and the strength is there and those healthy boundaries and foundations are reset,
Yes.
it will be time to move forward. And it'll probably be I won't say less tarot, but it was just all too much tarot. And laying there being sick, I actually did not even want to look at my cards. I didn't want to even touch them. It was just like an absolute complete shut off. I mean, it was a strong message from the universe. I had just gone through releasing things in the throat area with JJ from Tuda Speaks, because she just, helped me bring out I'm working with light language. And it was just so interesting that with the minute I started working on the light language and opening up is when the COVID came in. So for me, I think it was showing me that a lot of work needs to be done. And it was a brutal way of having to kind of, but at the same time, I'm also grateful it wasn't as brutal. So I'll stop about myself, but it just goes to reiterate that with boundaries and foundations moving forward, that there's a lot of changes are coming.
Yeah.
Well, Amanda Carroll is saying, I really want to talk arts with you, Heather.
All righty. So I mean, I'm going to be doing videos more of, and just if I can just add something really quick, I was every March
Thank you,
there
Mother
is
Cheryl.
a for
Thank you.
yes, I did see Mother's Tarot subscribe, so thank you. The Niagara Arts and Cultural Center here in Niagara Falls, for Women's History Month. My friend Jill, who is Tuscarora Nation, she's been doing talking circles, and she's the one that's in charge. And I've been actually invited to create a live piece, intuitive painting piece,
Oh,
during the talk circle, so that as the women are talking and sharing their truths and their stories, I will be there near the circle or within the circle, creating an intuitive painting with all the energies and the everything that I'm feeling there. So I was invited and I accepted. So I'm looking forward to that March 8th. Yeah.
perfect. Wonderful. Excellent.
So that's I want to do more like that on my channel. Start bringing in my viewers and saying, "Hey, let's talk. Let's work through our things creatively. The cards are beautiful. Yes, they'll give us an idea of what we need to work on, but let's just like really. I mean, the power is in all of us. It really is. And sometimes you gotta go through that bit of darkness to see the light.
Sometimes it's the only way to see the light and to appreciate the light is if you don't have the darkness.
Right.
Yeah, I remember my dad. He's been gone now for 22 years, but every once in a while something he said still pops into my head, and it's always exactly when I needed to hear it. And thinking about the people who are going through difficult things and things that we're kind of going through now. And I remembered one time there was a situation, and I was sort of, trying to think my way out of it, and asking him, like, okay, well, what do I do? And he said, honey, be glad that some of these difficulties are happening to you while you're young. You will then have the experience and the knowledge to handle them when you're older.
My wise father.
Yes. And I thought then that, maybe he didn't really understand what I was saying. Now I get goosebumps. Now, in retrospect, he was absolutely on target. On target. So, yes. Yeah. So we are at 38 minutes. Does anybody want to pull some cards? Do you want to carry on with the discussion? Do we want to answer questions from if
I'm open to anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we take questions, because we probably beat them over the head with the boundaries. Yeah, we set your boundaries.
Maybe we could do like one card pull each for the collective or something.
Sure.
And just really quick too. I know Kelly's sister from Dozen Cats has been in the hospital with a collapsed lung.
Yes.
So if we can all remember to think of sending her sister support energy. I don't want to. I'll say let's send it without permission, but just send the energy out that and let her guides and her higher self absorb or take whatever. I haven't talked to Kelly in a day or two, but she said her sister had a little bit of a setback. She's still in the hospital, but just if we can make sure we all send our prayers to Kelly's sister too. I don't know Kelly's sister's name, but
she said it the other day, and I can't remember now what it was. I'm going blank.
I think it's Shannon.
She said Shannon.
Shannon. Yeah, okay.
So we're doing a 1 card for the collective?
Yep. Let's do that.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
And since the Archangel Michael cards have been so fantastic, that's what I'm going to use.
Wow. Feels weird to shuffle cards after 3 or 4 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Deanne is her name? Okay, Amanda's saying that her name might be Deanne. I'm not sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this one just... Oh me, oh me, oh my. Okay. I think, if you don't mind, I can lead us off because this. Okay. The first card that I'm not sure how I'm going to do this to get it to you guys. Do I
just switch out, just click or tap and move us just right over to where you are?
Okay. All righty. So the first one that I got is Angels of Healing Are With You. It says, a time of healing is about to bless your life. Accept Archangel Raphael's emerald green light while I enhance your strength. So for those that are needing healing, you're covered. You're covered. The next card that I got was prioritize self-care. It says, you do so much for others. It's time for you to experience the love you deserve and let others help you. And I thought that was, just considering what we're talking about, a little profound. And top it all is, whoops, drop the card. Take control of your thoughts. So your thoughts are creating your reality. Have faith and stay focused on the outcome that you truly desire. So I don't know that I could add anything to that, really and truly. I think that just
Spirit seems to be slapping us upside the head with that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Who's going to go next? Learn something new. Okay, Sherry, you're up.
Okay. Well, I pulled from the Psychic Development Oracles natural abilities. We all have them. It's the point of allowing ourselves to use them, to check in and draw them in and out of yourself to help others with it. And then, of course, I have my fun deck, which I have to do. Seriously? I'm going to amend the language a little bit, simply because it says, a wise woman once said, F this crap, and she lived happily ever after.
Yep.
Imagine that.
If that's not setting the boundary, I don't know what is.
That's funny.
Totally. Hi, Amy. Okay, Heather? Oh, wait. Okay.
Okay, so I did bring out one deck, and it's interesting. I pulled out this deck because there was a card that said boundaries on it. Do you know that card is not in this deck? I don't know
No.
how that happened. It's got to be somewhere else with my cards. It's weird. I don't know how that happened, but I still went ahead and I pulled three cards. If I lose my voice a little bit,
That's
I
all right.
apologize. So the card that I did get from that one is Oceans and Bravery. So there's the waters. There's the because what I got next was also a water card. So it's just being brave. And when it comes to boundaries, um, you have that right there. I mean, you need to be brave to have boundaries. And the more you do them, the more light you will feel. You will feel more balanced. You will be walking on top of the world, so to speak. You'll have those waters around you, but know that they're buoyant, they're holding you up, and that you have that lightness of being when you set those boundaries. And then the next two cards I pulled were from the Rose Oracle, and I got the Sacred Waters. And it says nourishment, replenishment, health, rest, and self care. I mean, it just goes right with that card as well. And I'm just going to pull this up a little bit because this deck has a lot of multiple. It's kind of sometimes hard to see the different images in there, but there's a multi layer. But there's, her in the water. So, again, making sure that we hydrate. Healthy boundaries means healthy eating as well, and what we put into our bodies. So it's saying right then and there. And I know too, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, water has really become my friend. A lot of hydration. Our bodies really do need it. And then the last card I got was Sophia, which is divine plan, wisdom, intelligence within, and destiny. So again, setting those internal boundaries for yourself, connecting with the divine feminine within yourself. She's blossoming, and it's like she's falling, but it's not falling as in like the Tower card, but just gently evolving and
Yeah.
falling out of the blossom, going into the womb, into the darkness, and knowing that there's a divine plan and that everything that you need is within yourself. So those are my cards.
Perfect. Beautiful. I love them.
Two.
Okay, you're up, Addie.
All right. So I have a show at 6:00 tonight on Today, which is we're in a portal. This is at 222, which is a doorway. It's a portal. So I pulled out my divine doorways, and that's the doorway I pulled. I also have I love doorways, and I put them on my Pinterest all the time. All the beautiful doorways all over the world. This says intuition, simple, complex, words of pain, or words that heal. You come to know truth by the way it feels. And then the next card I pulled was fearless. So be fearless. Yeah, be fearless in the pursuit of your intuition. There you go.
Absolutely.
And I had the bravery card too. So bravery, fearlessness. That's awesome. How those two went together, Allie.
Yeah.
Okay. Ivana, you're up.
Well, I pulled a card from a different deck, but then I was actually drawn to pull a couple cards from my surrender deck. And the first card that I pulled was surrender to non-action. It says, now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you.
Nice.
Yeah. It's nice. Sit back and just breathe, right? And let others come to you. I then got surrender to the wisdom of your body. Listen to your body's messages about a person or a situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. Our bodies, our physical bodies, our emotional bodies, our spiritual bodies, our mental bodies, we can absolutely, those are our barometers, or that's my barometer on how I feel and how I want to move forward on things. So I kind of believe that's why we do have emotions and that. is so that that's our guide, our moment by moment guide as to how we want to move forward on something. And then the last card that I pulled, well, it was the first card I pulled, but then I was directed to the surrender deck. So the first card I pulled, but I think wraps it up very nicely, is the Owl Spirit, and it says, "You see clearly now." So after our discussion, I think it helps us all see a little bit clearer.
Yep. Wonderful.
I mean, that reading was like completely tailored to what everything that's just amazing. It was like I just got another mini reading from Ivana. Thank you.
Nice. Okay.
We're all connected.
All right, Val?
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Do you have your mute on?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I live in the actually, I got this for our spiritual community, and it's really highlighting how powerful being in a spiritual community is and how it increases your spiritual growth. So I like that. Then because Allie mentioned it is a gateway, I got reminded. I pulled from the gateway of light activation, but what I got was the violet flame. So using that,
that's beautiful.
using that to clear away all the things that no longer serve you.
Val, could you put that just a little closer?
Sure, I can.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Okay, thank you for
sure. Then I pulled the Holy Grail, and it's funny, I've been channeling a lot about that recently, but it's inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek, and all the ascended masters seem to teach that the Holy Grail is your heart.
Yes.
Then I got chop wood, which means chop wood, carry water. Just keep on as you're keeping on, and everything is going to work out. All that glitters just reminds you your heart is the most important thing, to keep it open and honor yourself, because that's part of the starting point of your journey is self-acceptance and self-love, and you are that spark of the God source. So you really should be honoring yourself as you honor the divine source in everyone, and imagine what you can create from that platform. It's endless.
Yes. Nice.
We end with that Imagine, and that's my favorite song, the one by John Lennon.
And that's a beautiful.
That's literally like that's.
I mean, that is like the dream of all of us, to have that kind of world.
Yeah. And there's no reason we can't.
No, there's no reason.
I mean, there's always going to need to be that balance, to live in a perfect world where there's absolutely no hate whatsoever. I mean, it would be nice, but I think if there wasn't any, that we would be off balance. And like right now, there's more hate than there is, love. And but when it's balanced, people seem to be able to coexist more peacefully than when it's,
Yeah. The pendulum always swings the other way.
Yeah.
And it will happen. There's a lot going on right now that if you listen to the fears, you can really get, it's the end of the world. No, it's not. It's just bad people being recognized for doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and they won't be around.
Yeah. Yep. Getting a forum in today's world that you didn't usually get a forum for. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Sherry, did I cut you off?
No. I Heather was talking about, the good and the bad, the balance of it. And I was like, and it just struck me because as she's saying that across the bottom, I've got a feed scrolling, news feed saying another shooting
Oh
in
God.
Orlando and a child was killed.
Oh,
And I'm just like, okay, this is just it I mean, because of the conversations we're having,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that we're carrying this light and we're trying to share it with everyone. And then I look down and I see that across the bottom of my screen. And it's like, it just struck me as just as a reminder of, yeah, there is still that balance of light and dark. And that just means we have to shine our light a little brighter
Exactly.
to try to put out as much of the darkness as we can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And things will get better. Things will get better. They're already better in a lot of ways. When you think about where we were 4 years ago, um,
Oh,
things
yeah.
are moving in the right direction. Maybe not as quickly as we'd like them to, but they're moving in the right direction. So,
I just hate when it's children involved because
oh,
we one of the things I have an issue with is when we say we come here and we choose to come here and how what happens to us is our contract or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but how can you say that about a child who gets abused by a parent or gets assaulted or gets, like Sherry just said, gets shot and killed? They didn't choose. I mean, it's just, how does a child? So there are still things that
it's
I'm
in their
kind of
divine
learning how
plan.
to handle and to process and try to understand. And but yeah, I hate it when it's the children, the innocent ones that
It's hard when it's kids, but sometimes they come in for that one purpose to
yeah,
teach a lesson to a multitude of people, and it's a powerful lesson, and it's a huge gift that they gave the world by doing that, and it's in their divine plan. It's all
yeah,
they decided to come in to do that,
I
even
have a
though
hard
for us as
understanding.
humans, it just breaks our hearts, and we are, of course, it's a hard thing to deal with. There's no doubt about that. But if you look at it in a bigger context, it's a little bit easier to deal with in a larger format, that this is just a school and we're
Yeah, but
learning.
children shouldn't have to make that kind of
It
sacrifice.
isn't a child, it's a soul fully
yeah,
formed, a spark of God who came into a small vessel to teach a big lesson, and that we're all these ancient souls who came in, even though our little vessel is isn't big yet. It's an ancient and powerful soul that came in that vessel, and you have to respect and honor that vessel's journey, that soul, that powerful being who came in to do that one thing. Like even the souls who crashed their plane so that they didn't hit the was it the
the
Pentagon, or
Pentagon, yeah,
they were headed there, and they were there. They were all together with they had a contract to come in and do this big thing. Whether their bodies are small or big, they're amazing souls that did this.
It's
So
just more painful, I think, for
yeah,
us,
it is
especially as adults, when it's a child, because
yeah,
we feel it's our responsibility to care for and protect that child.
I
And
know.
when a child gets hurt or killed or anything, um, in many ways, it makes adults feel like a failure.
Yeah, it
Um,
does. And I have to say, it was nonetheless very traumatic for me to lose my adult son at 38 years old of an aneurysm or a
yeah,
blood
because they're
clot.
always your children, no
Yeah,
matter the
because
age.
even if they're 38,
oh,
I'm
it
sorry,
doesn't
Val. I
matter.
didn't know that, honey. I'm
Yeah,
so
this
sorry.
is this is this is not an easy thing, but you have to come to the understanding at some point that there is a bigger purpose for every single amazing soul who comes down here, and that they're they have to be honored for whatever they've come in to do. My son or not, I have to say,
yeah,
oh, that amazing soul came in and did this. So, yeah. That's it.
It's hard.
That's
It's hard because we're finite beings with non-finite souls, so it's still it
our
makes it.
souls. Our souls are finite. Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
Or they're infinite.
I mean, they're infinite, not
Yeah.
finite. They're infinite, and that's why we're these ancient beings. I'm sure we've been many galactic places besides here, and yeah, it doesn't
I've
make.
had several past life readings. I've been told I'm from the before time.
Of
We're
course you
trying to figure
are.
out what the hell that means,
I
but
know. You definitely are. You're an ancient being. There's no doubt
yeah,
about it.
I feel ancient some days.
Yeah. Some days more in touch with those past lives than others.
Some
There's
days
these
I feel really old and
children,
decrepit.
and you look at you,
Yeah.
and you look into these children's eyes, and you hear them speak, and it's just like, oh boy, you are here to make a change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to hear one child who made a big impact on me years and years ago, I don't know if you'll even remember, but back when AIDS was a new thing, and Ryan White, the little boy Ryan
little
Yes,
boy.
I
Yes.
remember
I
him.
am telling you, I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, even though I knew, wow, this child came in to do this, because he was amazing, like full of wisdom, and his perspective on everything was so unbelievably pure. And
You
I
could
just,
see the goodness just coming out of
goodness
his
was just
voice.
coming out of him.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
radiated from him.
It radiated like you knew he was like this little angel that came down to teach us all a big lesson.
And Elton John fell in love with him too, and
Oh
sang
my
it.
God, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
And I think it helped because at that time there were certain groups of people that were trying to make it a very political or social,
Yeah, it was a gay
He
disease.
wasn't. He tried to go
make
to
a social
school.
comment against the
I
gay
think they
community
shunned him from
when it
school.
wasn't just
He
the gay
really had a time
community.
of
Yeah,
Listen. He tried to go to school and was
yeah,
turned
they
away.
wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
So we're talking about those people who heard you have AIDS and they think they can touch you and get it. It's like
Right.
a huge shift from.
That's where Princess Diana made such a big impact because she would go to the hospital into the AIDS wards
And she would
and
help
go
children.
in and hug people,
Yes.
and folks like flipped out because she did this, but it was she was proving a point. I mean, number one, she knew that her presence brought to light what was going on. And number two, she knew that just a simple hug meant the world to these people because they were treated like lepers or something,
Exactly true.
And number three, it was the ability to show to everyone that it doesn't matter what your orientation is or how you got the disease. There were just as many people that got that disease because they had blood transfusions,
Exactly.
or whatnot.
You think, yeah, exactly.
And Louise Hayes, the author on You Can Heal Your Body or Heal Yourself, she would actually, we did recordings where she would have people that were around her when she was talking about, this was when AIDS, I remember seeing a film where she would just go there and just hug them and they would start crying because they had very to little no human contact, the touch. And Louise Hayes, she was one of the ones that pioneered, teaching people how to, I didn't necessarily agree with everything that she wrote, but just to be there and show, look at, I don't care what his sexuality is. I don't care how she would just go have these people and they would just be there and she would hug them and hold them and say, you are loved. I love you. And these people had, very little, physical, emotional, human contact with other people because of that stigma,
Yeah.
Very true.
Amanda, that is a beautiful call. Thank you. I'm sure that we all thank you. And we are very important to each other.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Our whole community is filled with amazing beings that I am always blown away by.
Yes.
All of
Yeah.
you, all of you.
And
Yeah.
knowing that I had that support the last 3 weeks or so has meant the world to me.
Yeah.
And I
Perfect.
appreciate every single one of you and everybody in chat.
As we do you and everybody in chat, I just can't,
Perfect.
I am always, my heart just, sometimes I just cry over the beauty of everyone in the chat and, you know, all the readers, and it's just amazing. Amazing.
And you know what? This is a perfect way to end, with everyone feeling the love, feeling so good. We're just, we did it. We did it on my channel.
Woohoo!
I did not.
Marina rocked it.
We got to hear Marina. It's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is absolutely wonderful. So I thank all of you ladies for being here, and thank you everyone in the chat for being here. Glad to know you're here. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you already haven't. Tell your friends about it. And yeah, we're the ladies and I are having a little bit of a special gift for you. You can subscribe to our channels free of charge. Okay.
It doesn't cost a cent.
For the next 24 hours, but 24 hours only, free of charge.
After that, you turn into a pumpkin.
That's right. Yeah. So
then you just make pumpkin pie.
Yes. And thank you for being here. Yes. And we will see you. Oh, whose channel are we on next time?
It's Allison.
Allison's next week.
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent.
And I'll bring up the rear, which will be good because it'll give me another week, and then I can, get us back to
Right. That was the plan. Yep.
Okay. See you later, all.
Bye, everybody.